to give godly advice, to be sympathetic, and yet say the truth that God can protect you, to never return evil for evil, to never hate. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You see? To weave the Christian faith, the Christian truth, into every experience that child is going through, whether it's joys or sorrows or challenges or sicknesses. To get on your knees, as Elaine often did, just get on her knees with our children when they're small and pray with them, when they were sick. When Gwen stepped on a bee, after Elaine called me at the office at college, and I pick up the phone and all I hear is screaming, loud screaming of a small girl who's just stepped on a bee. And underneath all that screaming, I heard my wife's voice saying, Gwen stepped on a bee, what should we do? Well, take the stinger out. You know, I'm holding a phone out like this. I mean, you've heard a child who stepped on a bee, right? They're screaming in pain. And so Elaine called me and asked, I'm 20 miles away at work. Well, what should we do? Well, you know, take her to the hospital, take the stinger out, put her... I don't know. She really didn't want to know what to do. She knew what to do. She was a mother. She knew all the first aid. She needed to talk to me and enlist my moral support. So at that point, the father's role was just to be there and to say something other than, are you crazy? I'm 20 miles away. How should I know what to do? But just be calm, supportive, loving, helpful. Be there. Be there. About 99% of the work in this world is to just be there. You don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to be a genius. You just have to be there. You have to take care of business. That's the thing I try to emphasize with many of my young people at the college. It's good to be brilliant. It's good to be funny. It's good to be a genius. But you ought to come to class once in a while. You got to be there. Most of the people who work in this world are just trudging away, doing their work. They're usually pretty boring. But they're reliable. Just be there. And we took that for granted, and now we found out what happens when mothers and fathers are not there. My mother was home. I'm not saying you all have to be at home. But when I grew up in Wisconsin, we had to walk to school through the snow, 10 miles, 5 feet of snow, uphill both ways, to school, back for lunch at home, back to school, and back home again. That's 4 times. It really was about a mile, but still, it's a lot in Wisconsin. And Mom was there with a nice warm meal, a place to put her galoshes. To just be there is a big deal. And we found out now when we see that so many parents are not there, perhaps not even taking responsibility. To just be there. But then to be a Christian. To infuse our faith in everything we do. Through the Bible, through hymns, Christian music, Bible stories, videos. One of the things that caused me to almost cry when we gave away my Oldsmobile, my Olds 98, which kind of disintegrated. I had it so long, it just sort of rusted to pieces. And one day after church, we drove home and I slammed the door and it fell off. It literally rusted through. And Elaine said, Aaron, I think it's the time you got another car. Now we're missing one entire door. And one of the reasons I didn't want to get rid of it is I had a lot of sentimental attachment to that car. We took it on family vacation. The trunk was old, Olds 98. That trunk was as big as a living room. I mean, we could get the whole family stuff in that trunk and drive to the cottage in Michigan. And I mean, it was unbelievable. And I remember one year, Gwen was riding up with me, we played these Kids Sing Praise tapes.